Psalm 46:10, Be still and know that I am God. I'm Cecelia Stansbury, and this verse has a lot of meaning to me because I have trouble being still and listening to God. Don't we all? And all my whole adult life, I've been really busy. Raising kids, juggling a career, being active in my church, all are time consuming. And so sometimes I just and God gives me nudges. He's talked to me many, many times. Fortunately, I have listened to him. I've had some rewarding moments because of that. Twice I got several nudges, not nudges on the shoulder, when I was asked to be elder 2 different times in our church in Pleasanton. The first one was to oversee the preschool program that we ran, and under the umbrella of the church and the finances. And my kids were in preschool, so it was perfect for me to do that job. But, you always think about taking on that kind of responsibility, and I take things seriously when I do them. The other time that I was very rewarding, and I, again, stopped long enough to listen to God, was when I was asked to be on the personnel committee at church. And that, again, was very rewarding. Difficult times sometimes because there's situations sometimes in personnel that aren't as comfortable as others. But I think it's a good lesson for everybody to just be quiet sometimes. Not even necessarily pray, but just let God envelop you and let him be a part of your life. And he'll give you answers, and he'll talk to you. He has to me anyway. He's, various times. When we first retired, we hit the road and started traveling with our Airstream group. And I know a lot of you in church know that Bob and I are on the go a lot with our Airstream. And over the last 10 years, between Bob and I, we've had numerous leadership roles, which we just ended the last one in July. Well, big leadership roles. And that's been rewarding, and we've been able to put our belief in God to work during that time in Airstream. It's not a Christian-based organization, but there's a lot of Christianity in it. We always leave places better than we found them. We have church services at all of our big international rallies, and last year Bob was honored to be asked to be the spiritual director. So our Christian faith certainly went to bigger heights, and he's been asked to do that again this year. So we have done all of those kind of things in our lives to have our Christian faith be part of it. And I think a lot of you know that Connie Stanton makes quilts for a lot of people. And she found this material on the back of the quilt she made me. And whoops, it's, can you see it in the camera? It's all a bunch of Airstreams. And so when she found the backing, it had Cecelia written on it, she told me. And so she made me a quilt, which is really fun because flamingos are a big thing with Airstreams. So she's made it with a bunch of flamingo patterns. And at the top, she asked me what verse I would like to have on it. And of course, it's Psalm 46:10, Be still and know that I am God. When she asked me for the verse, that just spewed right out of my face, out of my mouth, almost immediately. So that made it very, very special. And I think we all need to remember that God leads us through lots of peaks in our life, but he's also there in the valleys. We just have to listen to him and know that he's with us. Thank you.
Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to His purpose. Hi, I'm Alan Jones. This is without a doubt my favorite verse in the Bible. When I was in my teens, I rode my bicycle a lot. And I had a Bible that I carried with me. It was one of my favorites. And I showed it to my father, who was a preacher. Yes, I was a preacher's kid. And he said, "Let me look at that, son." And so I gave it to him, and I took off and was doing something else. And later on, a couple of years later, I was looking through it again, and I saw that somebody had put squiggly lines in my Bible. And it wasn't me. It was my father, who had written squiggly lines beside this verse. Now, this man knew his Bible really well, but these are the ones that he considered significant enough to pass on to his son. And I read that, and I went, wow, that's encouraging. That's really going to help me get through some tough times. But then I kept reading it, and I saw that there were some caveats to this. And it wasn't until my 30s that I actually understood it. If you notice, it says, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God. Ooh. So what about those who don't love God? That's a tough one. And then finally you get who are called according to His purpose. Wow. What if I'm not called? And I wrestled with those for quite a while. But then I realized there are a lot of people in this world who do not love God and who are not called. And for them, all things don't work together for good. That's a tough pill to swallow. But in my life, it encouraged me. Hold fast to that love of God. Listen for that call. And when I say call, I'm not talking occupation. That's what keeps you busy. But that vocation, voca, the call from God to do what He wants you to do. Without a doubt, this is encouragement, not just for things that happen bad to me, but in the long run, for what's going to happen for all of us who love God and are indeed called according to His purpose.